All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again. Now, it seems as if Bill Maher has officially given up on Kamala Harris. Now, over the last few weeks, I've been seeing Bill Maher go after Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. He's been saying some crazy stuff, but at the same time, it's like you would take people like Bill Maher. They'll say all these crazy stuff about Kamala Harris and say she ain't doing this, but he'll be the same person that still vote for this woman. I mean, it just don't make sense. He see how bad this woman is. She ain't fit to be president. And he'll say all this stuff about her, but he'll still be the main one that still go vote for this woman just because he don't like Donald Trump. And he know Trump policies is way better than Kamala Harris. And he knows that just for his dislike against Trump is a reason he'll still vote for this. I mean, it just don't make sense, but it's been going viral about the way he's talking about Kamala Harris. So let's check this out. Please hit that like button for me. It's very important. It helps the channel grow so more people can see this video. Like I said, subscribe if you're new. Without further ado, let's go ahead and check this out by Liberal Hive Mind, y'all. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here we go again with Bill Maher. You guys know that I'm no real fan of Bill Maher.
Me
I think
either.
He's arrogant, closed-minded, elitist, out of touch. I think he's emotional, and his personal hatred and vendetta for Trump make him simply an unreliable analyst and voice in the current political space. But you know what? At least he hasn't gone completely overboard, and to be frank, there's not too many people like that who currently remain on the left-wing side. It sounds crazy, but Bill Maher is a beacon of rationality and occasional common sense in the world of the left, and so I gotta at least give him that, you know? And here we go again. Bill Maher continues to be the deliverer of bad news, inserting a little bit of reality into the delusional world of the left, and boy oh boy, his latest segment was an absolute blow to the copium blueanon leftist sphere. They all want to deny reality, the reality that Kamala Harris is plummeting in real time as we see her, but I guess Bill Maher ain't denying-ish, if you know what I mean. Let me show you guys some of these moments from his latest show. Then of course, let's build on it. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So like I said, I mean, you exist on social media. You hear all of these leftists continuing to gloat of how great Kamala Harris is doing. And then, of course, there's reality.
It's 25 days before the election, and I gotta say, it's not looking that great for the Democrats. I mean, this is not a good sign. You know, when you have an African-American candidate, you probably shouldn't be having to shore up your support among black men, but that's what's going on. Tim Walz is headlining a voter engagement event tonight with black men. Who better to connect with young black men than Tim Walz?
Wow. I ain't gonna do him no good.
Because apparently Michael Bublé was unavailable. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian's like, hello. But no, Obama even came out yesterday to scold. I mean, he was scolding. Well, I don't know. The last month at the convention, he was no scolding. Now he's scolding. He was saying, you got to vote for Harris. But of course, for some young, especially the younger black men, it's a tough choice. Harris is African-American, but Trump has a sneaker.
No, she's not.
So I was mentioning in the monologue, there's some sobering statistics for the Democrats this week about the election, which is only a little over 3 weeks away.
They still running with this crap that she's African-American. No, she's not. Democrats are still trying to run with that. They try to lie to black people before they vote. Because, you know, a lot of black people will fall for that, but I hope, well, a majority of them ain't falling for it because they see what she's doing. The woman is Indian. She's not African-American. I don't know why they keep saying that.
Taking this from Andrew Sullivan's column, he says, at this point in 2020, Biden, with far fewer resources than Harris has, was 10 points ahead of Trump. And in 2016, Hillary was 6 up. And she is only 2.6 up. Pennsylvania, Biden was up 7 at this point. She's up 1. Michigan, Biden was up 8, and she's tied. Now, we're all in our bubbles, okay? And that's one reason I'm glad you're here, because a lot of people are saying, I don't care about any of this. How could anyone think about voting for Trump? And that's why you're here, Buck, to answer that question. And we're going to get to that. But it does not seem like she is closing the deal. This week she did a media blitz she went to Howard Stern and Stephen Colbert and The View, places where, you know, I would say the ass is pre-kissed. Am I wrong? Did that help or hurt?
No, I think Kamala Harris just had the worst week of her campaign so far, and it's been trending downward for quite some time now. Donald Trump, at this point, I think is very likely to almost certain to win the election, and I appreciate the opportunity to tell people why. I'll remember that, by the way, why that is. And I think there are two things that are weighing her down. First of all, what led up to her campaign. And I'll give a quick, I know it's 4 years, but I'll give a quick version of it. Kamala Harris has to explain, while she's a part of the Biden administration, second in command, you had some of the worst statistics you could possibly imagine as a politician. Worst hold on, I'm going to get there. Worst inflation in 40 years while Biden is president. First time you have over 100,000 opioid deaths while Biden is president. Probably the worst open border in the history of the country, 8 million at least, and that's not including the 500,000 a year that are gotaways. So roughly 10 million people, you could call it, in 4 years entering illegally, almost all of whom are going to stay. Now, she doesn't want to throw Biden under the bus for this, and she didn't want to tell everybody that he's a dementia patient, so she decided...
It's funny that she talking about she want to see Donald Trump's medical records. What about Biden, the way you lied about Biden his entire time? Oh, he's good. He's sharp as a nail. And he's incompetent, and y'all pushed him out. That's how she got her spot. They pushed him out. And they keep talking about Joe Biden stepped down on his own. No, the man didn't. They pushed him out. They said they was going to freeze the account for where he wasn't going to pay the campaign because they weren't going to pay for it. So they literally pushed this man out and just gave this woman this spotlight. And she's worse than him. And now she wants to pander to black men, want to legalize weed and give $20,000. It's like, come on, man, with the pandering. It's almost like, what is wrong with you? That's what you call like hard pandering. So you think black people the only one like weed? Or I'm just going to legalize weed and that'll just make black people just run. I mean, come on. That is disrespectful to black men. That's disrespectful. To saying that if I legalize weed, all the black men will stop supporting Trump and just run to me. Come on now.
That she was going to go along. It's just the facts, everybody. You get mad at me. She decided that she was going to go along with this until it was no longer possible because of the debate. And that's what she inherited. I haven't even gotten to her campaign yet, but I can.
Well, and there you have it. You know, it always starts off the same, right? We're doing our analysis, and I try to be as fair as possible. I tend to give Donald Trump a little bit more benefit of the doubt in terms of my polling analysis, but I do that not because I'm partisan, not because I'm delusional, but more so because the polls have been wrong and generally are wrong. Of course, 2020 was a little bit of an exception, so it's harder to do that now. But you get what I mean. I try to analyze the numbers as effectively as possible and as honestly as possible. And so usually, you know, we tend to be on trends pretty quickly. Trends that the left, of course, denies and claims are MAGA chud copium, or they go as far to say conspiracy theories. That's when you know they're really losing. And then, of course, reality tends to kick in probably within a month to 2 month delay. And then all of a sudden, they start sounding the alarm bells and saying all the things that we've been saying. We go from conspiracy theorists to, I guess, trendsetters, right? And here we go again. Same exact thing. Bill Maher's pointing out what we've been saying. Everyone wants to sing Kamala's praise, how great she's doing in the national polling. But on the average, she's been up by, what, 2 points? Nationally? That's not a path towards
And like I said at the beginning of this video, I just don't like the fact that you'll get Bill Maher. This ain't his first time doing it. Bill Maher been doing this for the last few weeks, talking bad about Kamala Harris and how bad her and Tim Walz been, but he'll be the same person to still vote for it. And it's crazy though, because it's just like they only vote for her because they don't like Trump. And they know his policies are better. So it's like, come on now.
That's a path towards disaster. And I've been saying that since day one. Even during the initial media blitz where everybody was panicking. It's time to get real serious. Kamala Harris is a serious threat. Remember all those people freaking out on Twitter? I kept calling them out. Remember all the Ron DeSantis people coming out of the woodworks? I told you Trump was unelectable. I mean, there was some serious panic going on, but I kept saying she's up 2 points nationally. And in the Rasmussen polls and Trafalgar polls, we're still seeing the exact same results. What's the panic? Joe Biden, same time, time during the 2020 election was up 9 points, 7 points. I mean, she started to crater towards the end. I think she was up like 3.8 or roughly 4 points in the average right ahead of election day, but still better than Kamala. And if you looked at the swing state polling data, you know, back then, if you were doing analysis, you would probably think, man, there's no way Trump can win this. He's behind big time everywhere. But now this is the outlook. I mean, look at the RCP average just for top battleground states. Trump has now taken the lead in the average in every single state except for Wisconsin. And to be honest, Wisconsin looks like it's trending towards Trump. And again, it's a state where Trump is expected to do better than the polling averages are indicating. Look at October 12th, 2020. Biden was up 6.3 in the average. We can go ahead and take a look simply just by
That's
clicking.
so bad that they pushed Biden out when his numbers was his numbers was way better than her. I mean, think about this. They pushed Biden out, and yet she's worse than him. Like make that make sense.
The button, and look at this. Biden was up by 11, 10, 8, 8. Huge, astronomical leads. And in the end, what ended up happening, even with all the Democrat electioneering, let's call it, I think Joe Biden took the state of Wisconsin by 13,000 votes, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that. A little more than 13,000. 13,000 might have been Georgia. Just a little bit over 20,000 votes. A 0.6% margin. So the polls on average showed Biden winning by nearly 7 points, but the actual result was 0.7. There was a 6% Biden-favored error in the aggregate data. I mean, what does that tell you? That tells you that now with Kamala Harris leading in the average by 0.3 and likely even less as we get closer to election day, if the polls are wrong like they were back in 2020, Trump could take the state by over 6 points, theoretically. And this is the outlook that Democrats are celebrating. You people are out of your damn minds. You're delusional. You're so delusional that Bill Maher looks like the rational one. It's actually insane. Bill Maher is the common sense guy. Not because he's an emotional wreck, but because, you know, the rest of you leftoids have freaking lost the plot. And the copium this year is just incredible. I mean, I really don't think they realize how bad the outlook is for them. I'm not saying this election's over, Trump's gonna win, but it's just not looking good. And it's crazy to me that the left is looking at all this polling data and thinking, oh, we're on track for victory. I don't know. I don't think so. And speaking of this incredible copium, I think the craziest copium of all is coming from all the early ballot data. We're getting some early mail-in ballot data coming out of a lot of states here, which Democrats are obviously overperforming in. And so you got all these leftist analysts all over X tweeting stuff like, oh, we're doing so well in early voting. But again, they're not drawing back to historical data. Sure, Democrats are ahead, but Democrats are far behind where they were in 2020, where the election, the Electoral College, was only won by 40,000 votes. I keep seeing tweets like this. Data from TargetSmart suggests that Democrats are running away with early voting. This is consistent with data showing robust turnout in overwhelmingly Democratic Detroit and Philadelphia. Oh, we're running away with the early vote. But that isn't the case at all. Michael Pruser has been doing some incredible...
And I think now, as of today, I think Donald Trump done flipped Wisconsin now. I believe that came out earlier. I think he had done flipped Wisconsin now, and it's looking bad. Now she's ready to come on Fox now. Now she's talking about, tell Donald Trump to get his medical record because I showed mine. People are worried about the economy. They're worried about groceries prices, gas prices coming down, and she up here talking about seeing Donald Trump medical stuff. Like, what? This woman is just pathetic. We cannot have this woman as no president. She ain't gonna be able to sit down with Putin and all of them. She ain't gonna be able to. She can't even get through an interview. How's she gonna get through a conversation with Putin?
Will work, and pretty much across the board, we're seeing Republicans actually overperform in early mail-in voting. North Carolina early voting update. Regular voter registration is now closed in North Carolina, and this was the net change over the last 7 days. Republicans plus 11,300, Democrats plus 5,400, others plus 14,700. And on the return side, we're still on track to finish with about a Democrat plus 8 return edge over Republicans. Plus 8. You don't need a degree in statistics or you don't need to be a big brain political analyst to realize that a plus 8 early voting advantage for Democrats is abysmal, considering what we saw in 2020. And we're seeing the same thing in Pennsylvania. He says, I've been tracking PA absentee requests and returns since the primary in 2020. And today was the first time in just over 4 years that Republicans out-requested Democrats in mail absentee for the previous day. He breaks down the total requests here as he's been tracking from mid-September. And look at the breakdown, 61% Democrat and 27% Republican. That's significantly down from the 2020 results, where Democrat requests were at 73% and Republican at 19. And back during the 2022 midterms, where Democrats were at 69% and Republicans at 21. Democrats are claiming these numbers are good for them, but obviously that isn't the case at all. Democrats are lagging behind where they were in highly contentious, extremely close elections. And just to make matters worse on top of that, mail-in ballot requests across the board are down, meaning the early mail-in ballot vote is going to be less significant this time, theoretically, than it was then. And so you got Democrats underperforming in early voting, then you got Republicans who are going to flood the polls on election day. I don't know. Doesn't exactly seem like a recipe for success now, does it? That's the reality, and it's becoming undeniable. And now you got leftist talking heads like Bill Maher essentially sounding the alarm. Anyways, that's pretty much.
There you go, right there. Bill Maher has officially given up on Kamala Harris, and like I said, this ain't the first video. He's been going on a rant about Kamala Harris and how bad she's been. At this point, you would think Bill Maher is endorsing Donald Trump. He pretty much saying the same stuff that Donald Trump said. The woman is not fit to be president. I mean, everybody knows that. They just hate Donald Trump so bad they just want her to win. But they really don't even want her in there. Remember, before Kamala even ran, CNN was talking about how bad she was. But since now that she's going against Trump, now they praising her like she's this good person. I mean, like, come on, man. Ain't nobody falling for any of that. We must get President Trump back in the White House. 4 more years of Trump and then 8 years of J.D. Vance. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.